Hey guys, and welcome back to Create Above and Beyond. Let's jump into it. So to begin, I don't know if this will be a shorter episode or a longer episode, and I don't know how much we're going to cover in this episode. And I say that because we're going to take a stab at this like calculator style math thing, which I don't know if video-wise will take a long time for me to figure out. Might not. Might take a long time. I really don't know. And then once we figure that out, it looks like we're basically then going to space. So there's a chance at the end of this video, we'll go to space, and probably the title will reveal that. But we're going to go ahead and start out with these number things. And it looks like the very first part is to create the 3, the plus sign, or well, all the operators, and the 8. All right, so we're back in, and I haven't done too much, but I have a feeling a lot of this is going to change as I'm developing, but we'll have to see. So we still have our same process from the end of the last episode, calculation mechanisms, going through a magma crucible, turning into liquified logic. I've added a fluid tank just in case the system backs up, that this magma crucible can keep processing and we don't have to worry about that. Right here we have just another smeltery that I've designed. You could probably use one of the other like 4 that I've made inside of this world. But you just need one that is basically taking your liquified logic and pulling it into the smeltery. You do that with just a mechanical pump attached to a seared drain. There's probably another way to do it as well. Oh, I realized we actually maybe don't have to do this. I was going to say we might need a tank to power this, but maybe not, because we already have this as a liquid and we're not doing anything with it, at least not yet. So you might have been able to make this a lot smaller than what I did. But we basically have these seared drains off the sides with these faucets on the front, and then we have these guys. These are integer casts. If you want to see in how to get these guys, you can see you just make nickel plates and then stone cut them, and you can go ahead and get your integer casts. And you could also get the operators, so you can see we got plus, minus, times, division. And then we can just right click each of these guys to go ahead and get every single one of these things, and just right click to pick them all up. And that should be the beginning. So now we have an 8, a 3, a minus, plus, multiply, and divide. And this allows us to now get the rest of our numbers, which is where this is coming from, is that with an 8 and a 3 and all of the operators, you can get 1 through 9 very easily. Easily, probably a little bit of an understatement. And I've read ahead a little bit. We can check these guys off for now. It looks like the idea is that I have to create a system that's going to create like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a 0. And then once we get all of those, we're going to go ahead and put them into a smeltery. Or is it a smeltery? Yeah, we'll put them into a smeltery. And you can see once you have, it looks like a little bit of every single one of them. You end up getting a liquified computation matrix as soon as you add some type of power source, so like lava. So we're basically alloying all of this liquified logic to create liquified computation matrix, which makes 50 MBs, whatever that stands for, I always forget. And then we need an entire block of it to then output into a seared basin, is I think what it's called, and that turns into a computation matrix, which is what we need. And I believe that we can't really just hammer this out and just say screw it and just throw as many ones as we wanted in there, because it might unbalance like the seared. I keep saying seared. The smeltery might fill with too much of one liquid, and then we're not going to be able to actually alloy it. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to do a lot of this, and I feel like this might get pretty complicated pretty fast. So let's see how long this takes. All right, we're back, and I think, weirdly enough, I'm wearing the same outfit from the previous clip you've seen, which was recorded maybe like 8 days ago, because I've spent some time just kind of working on the system, and I'm hoping I'll adjust the audio levels because it's very loud right now, of how we can do all of this math. And I tried to do a different variation than what Rage did, so if you watch his videos, you probably know the setup he's done, and it's very similar to this. And I couldn't figure out another way to do it. I like to try to, if I see other people doing it a certain way, I like to try to do it a different way, maybe a more efficient way. And I didn't really find that. So this is basically Rage's setup that we have right here. I'm going to link him in the description. It's also going to pop up on the screen, or should have already popped up on the screen, his channel, just to give him credit, because he came up with this idea and I haven't found a better way to do it. So let me walk through how this all works. Okay, so over here, we have our same setup here. That's just making 3s, 8s, plus, minus, multiply, and divide. we have these brass item pipes that are hooked up, and there's nothing configured inside of them if you know any of the configurations that can happen. But they are all connected to here so that they're going to pull out these items as they're being made. Now, these connections are being funneled through a bunch of different pipes, and they are all going into this drawer controller, which allows us to basically interact with all of these drawers that are next to it. And then every one of these drawers have a certain number or a equation symbol that's basically set in here. And we use, you can see that they're locked. We use a key, which let me see if I can find the key. There we go, a drawer key. We use a drawer key to basically lock this, and that allows it so there's only ever gonna be like minus signs inside of this drawer. And we did that for all of the drawers, so that we basically have sorted all of our items, and they're all sitting in here, basically, is what we're trying to do. Now, we've done some other odds and ends here, and I'm going to explain a little bit of how it's working. It might seem a little bit complicated, so I will do my best to break it down, but in this drawer controller, you can see that we have it going in once, we have it going in twice, and we have it going in 3 times into this drawer controller. Now, all of the pipes that are connected directly to this drawer controller have a high retrieval module, and they have a stack limiter, or at least this one has a stack limiter. But the high retrieval module, all it is basically saying, hey, we're going to add this to this pipe, and this is going to pull items out of our system that are any of the following items. So this very first one is pulling the numbers 1 through 9 out of here. And of course, right now we can make 3s and 8s, and we can make the multiplication divide, stuff like that. But we also want to make sure we have our other numbers in there. If you haven't gotten those numbers yet, that's okay. Wait until we actually process said numbers, and then you can just pick them up and set them as the filter. I don't know if you can use a create filter in this, but that might be a worth a shot to go ahead and give that a shot to try out. But in summary, eventually you want to have all of the numbers in here because it's telling it that in this system, if you find these numbers, pull them out and throw them into our drawers over here. We have our stack limiter module. This is just basically saying, hey, for each item, 1 stack. That's it. We don't want more than that. And that allows us so that each one of these boxes is only going to have 1 stack of a set of items. It's not going to have an infinite amount, which kind of helps us keep that under control. Now, we have multiple inputs into here for a couple different reasons. One, we have another one down here, which has the 0 and the rest of the other multiplication, divide, stuff like that, all into this drawer controller. And that's another way of just kind of saying, hey, let's go ahead and make sure we also pull out the zeros and all of the symbols as well, because remember, I ran out of space in this one. So this is just also saying, hey, let's also pull this out. And if you watch, you can actually see that only those items are going into that pipe and into the drawer controller. And then the top one is empty. Now, the one that we basically left empty on the top, this is how items get pulled out of the drawer controller and then continue to go out and get pulled into where we're having our crafting system set up over here. Now, that is just our output, and the other 2s were our inputs into this drawer controller. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I'll try to go ahead and respond. Now, what we have over here is just a whole bunch more brass item pipes. There's no configuration, no anything set to them. And they're going over to this massive amount of mechanical crafters and depots. So this is 4 depots stacked on top of each other, and the mechanical crafters out to the sides. And all of these mechanical crafters on the left side go left to right until it places on the depot, and the ones on the right go right to left until it places on the depot. And then we have all these pipes that are connected to the depots, and there's no filter or anything set in it. It's just connected. Because once these items are crafted, or these numbers are crafted, we're going to pull them out and throw them into our drawer controller to use in the next step. Now, we also, this is where it's going to get complicated. Remember, we are already able to make 3s, and we're able to make 8s, and we can make plus, minus, divide, and multiply. So we need to figure out how to make all of the other numbers with those equations. And there are multiple ways to do that. So I'm just going to show you a basic way of how we did one of them, and then I'll talk about how you would do the other numbers, but it should be kind of self-explanatory. So for example, we need to figure out how to make 1s. There's a ton of different ways to make 1s with all of the different math and numbers that we can create. So for instance, we're going to start out with 5. So there's a couple different options you can make 5. You can do like 1 plus 4. You can do 3 plus 2 and a whole bunch of other odds and ends. And you can do addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, everything to go ahead and try to get a way to go ahead and make a 5. Now, what we did is we did an 8 minus 3 to make our 5. And the reason I chose that is because we have basically an infinite amount of 8s, 3s, and minus signs from here. So I prefer to go ahead and use an 8, a 3, or some type of symbol inside of our equation because we know we have an infinite amount of them. So we don't have to For like example, for this one, where I'm making a 1 and I have a 3 minus 2, I'm reliant upon 2's being created prior so that I can make this equation. So that means that there's probably going to be less of those over time being created. So overall, you can see I have some equations filled in, some are not filled in, and that's because they're waiting for getting filled with other numbers. Now, one other thing to keep in mind, over here, the multiplication, division, subtraction, all of it's going left to right. Over here, it's going right to left, and that's all based off of the arrows of these mechanical crafters. So that would probably make sense. Well, I guess a lot of these don't matter because this is addition. But like, let's say that this was 3 minus 2. It's not 2 minus 3, and then it's going to go ahead and give the answer. It's going right to left because of the arrows on the mechanical crafters. How do you change those arrows? The wrench and create mod. You just right-click and changes it. Now, on the back, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. Now, these pipes are just connected to the ones that are in the front. There's no filters or anything just yet, and it goes to the back. Now, these are all connected to the mechanical crafters, and these mechanical crafters basically have one pipe selected to the back of it. And inside that pipe, there's a high retrieval module set to the number that I want to fill inside that mechanical crafter. So for 3 minus 2, I want to make sure there's only 3's in this left one, there's only minus signs in the middle one, and there's only 2's in the right. So what do? I set it so there's a high retrieval module with a 3, high retrieval module with a minus, high retrieval module with a 2. And that makes it so that only these items are getting pulled out of our storage drawers over there, or technically out of the system as well, and going right into our mechanical crafters so that only those numbers are ever in there. So if we've done this correctly, I've just set this up with a clutch. We have to power all of our mechanical crafters. And when we turn that on, they should all start crafting. They should be placed onto the depot. Hopefully, you can see they're making a bunch of different numbers. They will be pulled into the system over here, and they should go back into our storage drawers. Now, we also have the option for the ones that are left here, which this one I believe is waiting on a 2. Yes. No, waiting on a 1. That eventually, you can see right there, it says, hey, we need a 1, puts it into the system. Now that a 1's been created, and it crafts our 2 for us. Now, all of these is going to keep basically running until we have a stack of every single one of these numbers, which moves us on to the next step. All right, we are back in, and we're actually processing some of the computation matrix, but I want to go over what's really going on here. So essentially, we have this drawer controller. It's pulling out with brass item pipes. There's no filters or anything set here. And this system is also very similar to Rage's. I tried to see if I could do some changes, but I didn't really find anything. And I know you can do stuff with brass funnels or tunnels, but it just seemed overly complicated for what we're trying to do here. So we're just using brass item pipes to pull it out of our system. Then we have 2 connections to a seared chute, and this is just a smeltery that we have set up here. The first connection is set to high retrieval module, or with a high retrieval module and a limiter. The high retrieval module has a 0 in it. I'll show you what the other one does in a second, but this has a 0 in it. The stack limiter module is set to 8. You could probably up this to 10 as long as your smeltery is big enough, because you need about 10 of each numbers in order to make I think it's like 50 MBs of computational liquid. So you could probably up it to 10. I've started with 8. I think Rage originally started with 5 in his video and then upped it to 8. I'd recommend trying 10. If 10 does not work, go ahead and lower it down. But this is basically saying, hey, for my system, it's saying, hey, let's pull 8 of every single one of our numbers we got. Go ahead and send it into the system, and then we'll pull the next 8 of every single number we have. And that is also in combination with the other pipe connected to the seared chute with another high retrieval module, stack limiter module, which just has the rest of the numbers also set to 8. Now, this is just a generic smeltery. Don't use a foundry because we need things to alloy. If you use a foundry, we can't alloy things. So that's why we have a smeltery. And you can see all of our numbers are being pulled into here. They're processing and turning into their given liquids. So you can see that we got the 1s, the 2s, the 6s, 9s, 0s, all of them. Once they have all turned to 10 MBs, it will go ahead and process into a computational matrix liquid, which is what we want. Now, you can see I've actually pulled some of it out of our system, a little bit off camera, just to make sure this is all working. But over here, just the way we're powering the system is just with a seared fuel tank that's being filled with lava from our ender tank. We've done that before. And let's go ahead and wait until we can get some more computational liquid in here. And then I'll go ahead and show you and how it's all working. There we go. We actually got some of the liquid. Now, you could tell the difference visually. You can see it's glowing and changing a bunch of different colors. But if you go in here, you're going to see it as the Liquified Computation Matrix. Now, if you want to pull it out of the system, you would right-click here, but you can see there's actually a different color liquid that's trying to be pulled out of the seared drain. all you have to do is go in here and click on your liquefied computation matrix. It'll send it to the bottom. Then just right click on your seared faucet connected to a seared drain, and it will pour out into a seared casting basin. Now, you just need enough to actually fill said basin, and then it will actually go ahead and process and turn into a block. So let's go ahead and wait for that. There we go. And look at that. It should have turned into a computation matrix. There we go. We actually have some leftovers too. I've just kind of left it off camera basically. It looks like we can make 2, maybe a 3rd one. Oh, they don't stack either. That's interesting. Honestly, though, I recommend for you guys just leave this off camera for as long as you possibly can. I basically left it off for the rest of my shift, and it's been able to process a pretty good amount. But this is going to take some time. If you have any ideas in the comments or Discord or something on how to speed this up, let me know, because this took some time. This was not just like let me mine cobblestone for 15 minutes. Oh, there you go. Now we're out. This is a long time, and you need 8 of these guys, which we have 6, which is a good start, but we need 8. All right, we have finally got these. It took literally probably another hour to go ahead and get these guys up and running, but we have 8 of these guys, so we should be able to check them off. Oh, it's already checked off. That's good. And now, since we have liftoff, because we got to make the rocket guidance computer, which basically just uses everything that we have basically ever made, which I'll add that into here with mechanical crafters, and then we have to make some type of flag. We'll try to make like the light blue flag, actually. There we go. Just so that we can stay somewhat with our logos. And they give us a flagpole to actually put it down, to basically mark that we have made it to space. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, we have made it back here, and it is time to craft the rocket guidance computer. Now, basically, I've just set up these mechanical crafters. It's all powered from the same system we've been messing with for some time now. And basically, we just have to place these computation matrices just around in a circle, like so. And then we should be able to do the matter plastics. You do 3 in the corner, kind of making an L shape. And then I believe it's 2 diamond gears, an ME controller down below, and then more matter plastics around the outside, I believe. There we go. It should be crafting. And we use the wrench once again to go ahead and push it all over to this depot. But it should be crafted right after this. Oh, there we go. And now we got the rocket guidance computer. And the final thing we gotta do is actually make a flag. We're putting the light blue wool down, taking the stick, and we got the flag as well. And we conquered all of chapter 5, divide by digital. And we can even grab our flagpoles like that. So there we go. Chapter 5 is now complete. We go to the overview. It says the dream of walking the moon's surface finally came to fruition. So let's go ahead and do that. So before we launch, it's a couple different things. One thing, you need 2 planet ID chips. You need one that goes to the Earth and one that goes to the moon. Because we need to get to the moon, and then I assume you want to come back to your world, and if you didn't, you're not going to make it back. Also, your spaceship needs to have at least 12 of these fuel tanks. It's not highlighting, basically because I've already built the rocket, but I'll show you how to do that in a second. Because I think in the ponder scene and also what I showed, I gave you guys like 6. That's only enough fuel to get there, not to get back. So you need 12 fuel tanks or you won't be able to come back. If you want to adjust the size of your rocket and height-wise, just go ahead and use this rocketry launch tower. The taller you make it, the taller your rocket ship can be. And then also, if you open this rocket assembly machine, you can see it says build complete for me at the moment. If this power bar right here is empty, that's probably a weird kind of bug, weird thing with these Invar flux ducts. This magmatic dynamo, it was sideways, and it wouldn't actually output power into these Invar flux ducts, even though they were connected. So all I did was just rotate this, and then that immediately gave power to the fueling station, immediately gave power to the rocket assembling machine, and that means we're good. But to go ahead and go over these planet ID chips, because I don't think I showed how to craft them, I've just made this little area over here real quick, where basically we're going to take a calculation mechanism and a thing of nether quartz. That's going to turn into, wait for it, a planet ID chip that goes to the moon. We're going to take a calculation mechanism and a pure Certus quartz crystal, and that is going to turn into a planet ID chip that goes to Earth. Look at that, not bad. So there we go. Now with our planet ID chips, you would go over here, you'd click scan. You're going to watch it go ahead and scan, just like so. says missing guidance computer because I've already actually done this rocket. But once it's scanned, you would then click build. Your computer is going to freeze a little bit. Depending on how fast your computer, depends on how long it's going to freeze. Just leave it be. It will finish and you're good. Once you've done that, you should be able to right click and you'll actually be able to get into your rocket. It'll say press space to take off. For us though, we need to shift right click, click on the rocket guidance computer, and then you're going to go ahead and put in whatever planet you would like to go to. So for us, obviously the moon. We put that in there. We'd also take this rocket linking device. You're going to shift right click on this rocket fueling station right here. It'll say now linking for position, whatever the coords are, and then shift right click on the rocket. That will then start fueling your rocket ship, which if you're unsure of if it's full or not, you're going to see on the right side, this is your fuel level. Make sure you don't take off until you have enough fuel to get there, and then of course to get back, because there is no fueling station on the moon. But once we do that, we should be good to go. I say should because this is like the 15th time I've been recording this segment. But let's go ahead and hop in here. We're going to right click. We're finally in our spaceship, our new redesign of the spaceship with just a ton of fuel cells. And it just says press space to take off. Launch it in T-8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. We're going to the moon. Oh, this is so cool. Look at that. Oh, this is awesome. I had to take some screenshots for the thumbnail, as you know. Oh, we just went through a cloud, too. Oh, this is so awesome. Oh, this is so cool. Give you a nice little first person, third person view. Oh, we are really zooming to the moon, aren't we? Oh, we're coming back down. Oh, this looks so cool. Oh, this looks awesome. Oh, thrusters are firing up. Thrusters are firing up. Look at that. The moon apparently has clouds here. Oh my god. This is so cool. This is so cool. And we made it. Wait, there's like zero gravity. Look at this. Oh, this is so awesome. All right, and well, finally made it. I'll take some moon turf. It says chapter completed, the overview. Look at that. The dream of walking the moon's surface finally came to fruition. With that, the role of this factory guide has been fulfilled. Enjoy building up to your new high-tech empire, and we'll see you in the next mod pack. I am terrified for the next one, I'm gonna be honest, but, wow. We finally did it. All right, we gotta take some time to explore around now. Oh, is this supposed to be like someone else's rocket that's crashed? A matter condenser from Applied Energistics. We'll grab that. Seared fuel gauge from Tinker's Constructs. Yeah, it is like a rocket ship that's crashed. A potato cannon with power 4 on braking 2. Steel ingots. Oh, this is cool. I wonder if this is pressurized. I'm just curious. Tech console. Maybe not. I think it's just all kind of aesthetics. Oh, they do. They have a little oxygen pad. Oh, so this is someone that's actually living here. Really simplistic setup too. Although it looks like their pipe latched onto the laboratory wall instead of the gas charge plate. Tanks of oxygen. Some tech tables. So awesome. Tons of blocks, tons of items. This is so awesome. All right, here's our rocket ship. We'll go to this little high part over here. I was trying to look off and see if there's any huge mountains, but everything seems semi the same level. But we'll go ahead and place our flag. Oh, this is so difficult. Oh, wow, that did not work well. One moment. There we go. There's our flag. We finally staked our claim with our just straight up blue flag. Oh, man. This feels so good. I just want to say thank you. Thank you all so much for checking out the series. I have a feeling that this will be the end of the series. I'll leave it up to you guys if you want me in the comments to put anything else into this. But I think as far as automation wise, I think we've covered basically everything. And I want to just say thank you guys so much for watching. every literally episode of this series. It's been a ton of work, and I can attest that all of the Create Mod community and all, especially the content creators, have put a ton of hours into playing this mod pack, and it was not easy at all in any way, shape, or form. So I just want to say thank you so much for all of the support, for all of you guys checking out each and every one of my videos. I couldn't believe all of them hit over 1,000 views, which is just crazy. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know any other series ideas you have in the comments, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.